Hello there, commanders, and welcome to another Total War Arena News update. And we are here with patch notes for version 4.8 that brings us the new faction China. As promised, patch will be landing on 24th of November, that is tomorrow. Well, if you're watching when this video is released. If not, the patch is most likely out. And the version is called 4.8. I have no idea where the 8 comes from, because there were not 8 patches during this Chinese version. But whatever, it's still better than the 1.1 whatever we had before. I just hope that CA learns how to count, because that is kind of a balance issue. But speaking of balance, let's jump right into it. The new faction China. It brings a new commander, new commanders. 4 Chinese camp commanders appear: Cao Cao, Lu Bu, Guan Yu, Zhuge Liang. That's covered in their article a month ago when they teased the faction. Only 4 commanders are coming out rather than 7. And I mean, that was to be expected, right? Because 7 also is kind of an overwhelming number, and, well, some people might have felt overwhelmed, or might have felt that maybe it is unfair that Chinese faction will get 7 commanders, while, you know, factions that were here from the start, like Romans and Greeks and Barbarians, have only 4, right? And poor Carthage fans crying in 2 commanders. So okay, Cao Cao, Lu Bu and Guan Yu are good commanders. Zhuge Liang kinda sucks, and I wish Sun Ren was here instead. Also, you know, representing the Sun clan dynasty, family, whatever the hell that was. And well, Dong Zhuo, he's an amazing commander. I had a lot of fun playing with him, so it is a shame that we won't see him. I would gladly replace Guan Yu or Lu Bu with Dong Zhuo. I don't know, that's the decision I went with. Liu Bei, I mean, he's also kind of bonkers broken, and it was funny to play. Not necessarily fun to play, but he was funny. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed all commanders, all Chinese commanders, apart from Zhuge Liang. So there's that. And well, Zhuge Liang just sucks. His abilities suck. And well, if you want to have a in-depth look on all the commander abilities, the link to the playlist that covers all of them in depth in the top right corner. Okay, faction unit technology tree. The new Chinese faction unit technology tree includes a total of 43 basic units and 6 unit types: sword and shield infantry, longsword infantry, spear cavalry, halberd, which is G, single shot crossbowmen, continuous crossbowmen, which is repeating crossbowmen. Okay, that is what the tech tree looks like. It is slightly different than what I covered, but as I said, it is up to change. And I knew that changes were already being made. Like for example, crossbows being moved from tier 3 to 4. We also have so repeating crossbows. I think they started at tier 6 back then as well, so that hasn't been changed. The regular crossbow has been changed from tier 3 to tier 4, and they unlock not from cavalry, but they unlock from infantry. And then we have glaives. So glaives start at tier 6 rather than at tier 4. Or was it tier 5 this time we're starting? I think we're starting at tier 4. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago when I made that video. But they were definitely moved. I think G infantry also started at tier 4, and now it's at tier 5. And well, the 2 basic tech trees start obviously from tier 1, go all the way up to tier 10, which is sword infantry and spear cavalry. But yeah, my video was still pretty much accurate. Like 95% of what I've covered is here, right? The only change is the tiers were moved a little bit further, so you unlock the new types a little bit later. And crossbows unlock from infantry rather than from cavalry. And the G infantry unlocks from cavalry rather than from infantry. So those are the only changes. Okay, let's continue on. Continuous crossbowmen, new unit type. And again, an in-depth coverage of how crossbowmen, continuous repeating crossbowmen work, and all the other unit types that are in here, both new and old, let's say, are in that playlist that I mentioned in the top right corner. If you want to have an in-depth coverage of continuous crossbowmen, I recommend either the Zhuge Liang video or Sun Ren video that will come out later today. Oh wait, no, I think I moved the release of that video. So it already is released. Haha! Yes, it already is released. The Sunren video is already available. So watch either one, but I guess watch the one with Zhuge Liang since Sunren is not being released. Okay. Able to keep firing continuously for a short time at a middle distance and have a long reload time. It moves slower than other ranged units but has better armor. There are certain requirements for the user's operating skills, and it is necessary to always pay attention to the current ammunition volume of the unit and to maneuver to maneuver according to the battlefield situation. Congratulations, you just described every single unit ever. But okay. Compared with ordinary crossbow units, continuous crossbow units carry shields, so they can withstand more attacks. Well, yeah, that's something we've covered. Okay, single crossbowman. New unit type. Medium range, long range. Long range is just ranged. Anyway, unit, shooting distance 80, high armor penetration damage, low reload speed, no shield. It moves slower than other ranged units but has better armor. Again, on that playlist, there is an in-depth coverage of that unit type. Actually, a single crossbowman is a unit type that I covered particularly in depth, since, well, I myself am a ranged main, so I had a lot of things to say when comparing them to Greek archers, comparing them to barbarian archers and javelins as well. That's the video of Zhuge Liang. It's 19 minutes long, but it is like really in depth and goes into like details of range duels and other stuff, like damage that you deal to lightly armored units, heavy armored units, etc, etc. So I highly recommend this video. I'm pretty proud of it. Turned out pretty good. Link to it in the top right corner. Okay, long knife infantry. That's glaives. New unit type. Infantry units with good survivability and easy to use have advantages when fighting cavalry. Flexible battlefield positioning with strong defensive capabilities and visual effects of skills. Wow, we're gonna have good visual effects. That's what everybody cares about, to look cool. I mean, you know, I say that in a funny kind of mocking voice, but I've seen so many people doing stuff that is like useless on the battlefield, but it looks so cool. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put my pikemen in here in this narrow corridor, drop the pike phalanx, deploy my archers around it on the cliff. I'm just gonna stay here and look cool. Doesn't matter that my team is fighting somewhere else and I would be useful there. Stand here and be useless, but it looks so cool. So, please stop doing that. For you dear players, please be useful on the battlefield to your teammates. You know, that is also useful to you. You get more XP, more fun, instead of just standing in a place and waiting for the enemy to attack you, which never comes. But whatever, I digress, right? So, it turns out that they will not have a gimmick like Folksman. I mean, Folksman gimmick remains unique to Folksman, which is good. And they have a new gimmick, kind of, which is advantages versus cavalry. Obviously that is present on spears, but I assume this is going to be the same case as with Naginatas in Shogun 2, where Naginatas are kind of a hybrid between sword infantry and spear infantry, where, you know, sword is anti-infantry, spear is anti-cavalry, and here it is in the middle. It is not as good against other melee units, other infantry units as swords, but it is better, but not as good as spears. So better than swords versus cavalry, but not as good as spears versus cavalry. And also, well, spears have their own entirely unique mechanics of phalanx, right? This one unit just behaves like any other regular non-phalanx unit. And to be honest, glaives are pretty strong. I recommend playing glaives with either Lubu or Guan Yu. Cao Cao is also pretty good. But, well, I think Lubu or Guan Yu have better advantages, better skills that better synergize with them. And again, link to that in the top right corner, though I'm only limited to 5 per video, so I don't know, I will sooner or later run out of them. Sword and shield infantry. Medium mounted sword and shield infantry, higher attack power and attack speed, medium armor defense and long range block. And again, everything like of that is covered like in much more in-depth, much more in detail in my videos, link in the top right corner. If there is not that video in particular, go to the playlist, all the videos are there. And I would recommend... I had a lot of fun playing them with Cao Cao, but they're just as good with Lu Bu and Guan Yu. So to be honest, all three melee commanders of China are going to do pretty well with sword infantry. Spear Cavalry. Equipped with spears and shields, good at causing damage to the enemy by charging, but not excellent in continuous stalemate battles. The charge intensity is lower than that of Greek cavalry, but the survivability has been improved. Good movement speed, armor, melee damage. I mean, it is spear infantry, not like lance, shock cavalry. So obviously it is different than Greek. So if anything, you have to compare it to Romans or barbarians rather than Greeks. So that is kind of like out of the ass comparison. You know, it's comparing apples to oranges, so I technically both fruits, but entirely different taste. I think that's what it is about in this metaphor. Or not metaphor, this saying. It is also a metaphor. But whatever, we are not here for language lessons with Mistru, right? Not like Mistru knows anything about language. Again, more in-depth coverage on that playlist. And Spear Cavalry, I highly recommend with Cao Cao. I think Cao Cao will be the best. Lu Bu also works. Obviously, Guan Yu usually I have no synergy with cavalry whatsoever, so avoid them if you want to play cavalry. Let's go, Halberd. Light polearm infantry. Compared with Greek pikemen, the armor, morale, and weapon length have been reduced, but they have a faster attack speed and higher damage. Attack speed with phalanx. I mean, yeah, that is a thing, actually. Yeah, definitely it is. So, well, that's what the differences are between G infantry and Greek pikemen, which means that in a frontal combat, Greek pikemen will win because they have longer pikes. And that's pretty much all it's about. Also, armor and morale are also extremely important. Well, Greeks kind of don't care because they just use Leonidas's battle cry and they're fine. Is battle cry? I think it is battle cry. But also battle cry unit ability. Is the war cry? I don't even remember. I should remember, right? Especially since I was like talking about this ability yesterday, but you just assume it's Leonidas, right? Anyway, new advanced units. So I guess these are premium units. King, yeah, those are definitely premium units. Yep. King Crossbow Shooter, level 4 single shot crossbowman. Have a longer shooting distance, slower reload speed. Once obtained, you can directly unlock the level 5 single shot crossbowman technology tree. Hooray! Ranger, 5 class, tier 5. A longsword infantry. What do you mean? They're glaives. Whatever. The only longsword infantry among the 5 level unit can directly unlock the longsword. Oh, so we are the elephants again. Unit type unlocks at 6, but if you pay premium, you have them at tier 5. So if glaives turn out OP, and there is a tier 5 tournament, this unit is straight up pay to win. Thank you, CA. I mean, the same case with crossbows, right? Or where the crossbows... No, crossbows are starting at tier 4. Okay, yeah, that's okay, right? You have a premium unit, crossbow premium unit at tier 4, you have a regular unit at tier 4, and then that premium unit also unlocks tier 5. If you just want to skip, you don't want to bother with sword infantry, maybe it's not your thing. Just buy a premium unit and skip. But there is also a tech tree counterpart. Is it that hard, CA? Is it that hard, CA, to not make a pay-to-win unit, goddammit? You just prove it so fucking easy. And then the very next unit, BAM! Pay-to-win. Come on. Come fucking on. Anyway, continuing my rant, I guess. The only longsword glaive infantry among the 5 level unit can directly unlock the longsword infantry technology tree after obtaining them. Compared with other ordinary units, the number of soldiers is small, but it has high armor, good melee damage, and armor penetration. Interesting that they have a smaller number of soldiers in the unit. Okay, Xianden Deathman, class 6 longsword infantry. Compared with other class 6, god I mean I can't read numbers apparently. Class 6 longsword infantry, they have better survivability but move slowly. Archer, which is a crossbowman. Yeah, class 7 single-shot crossbowman. Once obtained, you can directly unlock tier 7 single-shot crossbowman technology tree. So we're skipping even further ahead. Higher armor penetration. Wait, so you just have higher armor penetration but no disadvantages? Am I reading pay to win again? Hello, CA? Okay, so we only are getting tier 4, 5, 6 and 7, just like we currently have, even though there was also a tier 3 and tier 8 premium units in my tech tree preview. I guess they're not coming yet, but you can go check that technology tree preview to see what's coming. Like what premium units will come to China in the future, most likely. And also, I started a new series, revived an old series, let's say, which is the premium unit review. I covered Surus so far, and please let me know in the comments below which of these 4 premium units you would like me to cover next. If you don't, I'll just pick one of my own. Skew. Okay, new map, Changbang Slope. Is that kind of racist? I mean, slope is a racist derogatory term, so word choice. Come on. CA. I mean, okay, it's not CA, I guess. I mean, the map is just called Changban, right, in English. The slope, that's Google Translate. And well, Chinese have put that additional useless word in there because it's just Changban. Okay, anyway. New map, Changbang Po. The famous battle of Changbang Po, so I guess Po is slope, is reproduced. And here's the minimap, and again, I've covered that map in depth. I already provided my feedback, what I like and what I don't like about this map. But in short, it is similar to Rubicon, river in the middle, that you can cross here on both sides, but there's a cool bridge in the middle around, well, not a waterfall, but like rocky, goddammit, not slope, shore, there we go, shore. That you cannot cross, right? So, and there's also a sea capture point right in the middle of that bridge, so that is going to be interesting. And pikes are just going to have a field day, like let you just put pikes on top of it and don't care about anything else. And seize yours, essentially. Okay, background of the new hall, Tao Yuan. The background of the new Chinese theme hall, Tao Yuan, will be unlocked for free after logging into the game. It looks nice. I do like my cherry blossoms with the petals flying in the air, just like we have petals flying in the air in the Roman. I assume those were rose petals. So I don't know. I really like the Roman background. It is the best yet, to be honest. I much more prefer that one compared to the previous ones we had, so like the campfire one, the Alpis Graia snowy one, and the Carthage port one. The Roman that we have right now is really good. But when this one releases, I don't know, I see myself switching. And I hope they will leave us a choice whether you want the Chinese background or you want the Roman background, rather than forcing us into this one as default and selling the Roman one instead. Although that would be a good financial move, but again, I hope they don't do that because that would be rude. Okay, new avatar. Add 3 exclusive avatars for the Chinese faction. And there we have it. Those are the avatars. New features. Store. Added a panel for gold coin conversion for silver coin. Yeah, I was like, it isn't there, but like nobody needs it. So good job on adding a feature that nobody will ever use unless you're a Celto. Or you're drunk, I guess. The effect of obtaining achievements is enhanced. Readjust the effect of achievements on the lobby interface. Hey, good job on you. Good job on you, because previously we had daily missions in here, and when I wanted to check what my daily missions are, it's like what unit to pick to get them done next, I was like, oh, Corona Civica, oh, Corona Obsidianalis, oh, Corona Mortis. Come on, okay, it's cool that I earned those achievements, but I want to check my dailies, goddammit, first world problems. Okay, optimize daily, display of achievements interface, new filter condition recently obtained. I think that was already, it was like coming. whatever, they weren't working anyway. And nobody really cares. Game mode adjustment. Okay, now we are getting to controversial stuff. PvE mode will only support units, unit levels 1 to 5. Restore unit level 4 and 5 battle gains in PvE. Yeah, so the issue was that PvP was pretty much non-existent on tier 4 and 5, 3, 4, 5, in European prime time, right? I don't know really in Chinese prime time because I wasn't playing it at prime time. I assume probably it was, there were battles like that. But a lot of people have come to our Discord or to my YouTube comments saying that, you know, how are you guys finding battles, PvP battles? I cannot find any, and I'm trying on tier 3, 4, 5, right? So just tell them, well, until you're tier 5, go up for PvE and start queuing up for PvP starting with tier 5, because that's when you can actually start fighting the battles. But I must say, I am very much not a fan of this adjustment, because it just treats people unfairly. It rewards people who have abused grinding in PvE in the early stages of the game, rather than playing PvP. And now you're punishing people who are playing PvP all this time, and rewarding people who are playing PvE all this time. So you're essentially rewarding the bad guys and punishing the good guys. It's like, they already unlocked their tier 10s. They have tier 10, whatever the hell they want, the commanders, maybe even all tier 10s, right? Because farming was so easy, right? And if I just dedicated myself to PvE only, it was like, fuck PvP, I'm just going PvE. I'm gonna grind my Christian archers and whatever else I want, heli, cataphracts, everything. I would have gotten them by now. But no, I was playing PvP. And now I'm getting punished for it, while all people who just ignored PvP and grinded the shit out of PvE, ruining the PvP experience and, you know, extending the queue times to such ridiculously long lengths, and ruining the experience for everybody else because of that, they get rewarded. Are you fucking kidding me, CA, right now? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how to treat your customers, your players, friendly? Because this is unfriendly, anti-consumer practice, to be honest. I would love for that to be the case since the very first day. But since on the very first day you fucked up and did what you did with the PvE gains, well, you just got to fucking stick to it. You just got to stick to it. You cannot just now reverse switch like, oh yeah, nobody will mind. Because people will mind. I mind. And I'm sure I will not be the only one. So what I would do instead, I would keep the PvE up to tier 10, because it also is an issue of right now, if I unlock my tier 8s, right? I unlock tier 8, and the only option I have to play tier 8 is in PvP. And I get matched against tier 10s, and I get absolutely crushed, and my player experience is ruined. And sure, I will stick, I won't mind that much. But a lot of people who are more casual than I am will mind. Because I know they minded during wargaming. They minded during Steam. There were, you know, voices of discontent within the community on forums, etc. I was like, hey, I'm entering matchmaking with my tier 8 units, and I'm just getting crashed by fully upgraded tier 10 units, and there's nothing for me to do. Same case for tier 9, to be honest. Like, freshly unlocked tier 9 is just getting crashed 10 times out of 10, pretty much, by fully upgraded tier 10 units. And yeah, sure, you can outplay the enemy, but it's not an even playing field. It's not even remotely close to being even. Like, good luck fighting, getting an archer duel, tier 8 or tier 9 versus tier 10 Christian archers. Good luck. Christian archers just outrange you. So, and tier 9s are slow, so you cannot even close that gap. Tier 8s are just straight up trash. And that's the case with archers, but it's the case with any other. I mean, with melee infantry, there is even less potential of output because you just right-click, right? You can flank. Sure, if you flank the enemy, you rout him and you win. But, again, it's 3v3. Usually it's hard to flank, and if your opponent isn't an idiot, then, yeah, he's not gonna get flanked and routed easily. But yeah, that's you know, details. So, what I would do, I would keep PvE up to tier 10 and keep the high rewards of PvE but increase the rewards of PvP even higher. So I would double, if not triple, the PvP gains. So if you play a PvP battle, at the end of it, you're getting like 5,000 experience with premium, right? So it would be, what, 3,500 regular XP. And that would be good, because people, hey, progress in PvP is so much faster. But if I need it, the PvE is also there. If I want to avoid getting crashed by tier 10 full upgraded foreman parties, I can always just go into PvE, grind my way up to tier 10 until I can match them on the unit level, and then I can go into PvP and fight them on an equal playing ground. Or I'm just being continuously crashed and humiliated just because my units are shit compared to the other players. That's the problem that you are now creating, CA. So, as I said, I'm very much not a fan of this solution. And also, we touched the grind issue. The grind is so fucking slow. And what you're doing with every patch, you're slowing the grind down. The previous patch, which started basing the rewards on time, it didn't increase the rewards with longer battles. It's just the longest battles just give you as much XP as the short battles did before, and the short battles gives you shit XP. So you lower the experience gain that patch. This patch, again, lowers the experience gain because it removes PvE from tier 6 to tier 10. And you're forcing people to grind in PvP, which is arguably a good thing, but that grind is going to be so fucking painful that I see many people quitting the game because they're just getting crashed over and over and over again. The same case will be with tier 5 and tier 6 that are going to get crashed by fully upgraded tier 7s. Right? And tier binding is not really going to save you anyway. Especially with the low population. If you had like super high population, and when people go and queue up with tier 8, they would always get a tier 8 only battle. That would be fine. But that's not going to be the case. If you queue up with tier 8, you're going to face tier 10s. If you do the same thing as in Wargaming and do tier 9 and tier 10 be a tier banding entirely of its own, so like tier 9 units cannot play with tier 8 at all, and tier 10 can't either, obviously, then the problem is just there, but it's just delayed by one tier. Like, as soon as you unlock tier 9, you're getting crushed by tier 10s. So yeah, there's like no saving grace for that. Other than just doing like just one tier bands. Like separate tier 10 band, separate tier 9 tier band, separate tier 8 tier band. Or maybe tier 8 can be matched with tier 7. I think that would be fine. But tier 9 and tier 10 would need to be separate. Otherwise you're just creating such a discrepancy between units that it's just no longer fun. It's just painful experience of grinding through. That's, for example, why in Wargaming I just used a shit ton of free XP to just skip to tier 10. Because tier 9 was too fucking painful, so was tier 8. And well, maybe you're trying to get money out of your customers, like, hey, spend that gold. Spend that on free or commander XP conversion. Sure. For every player that you'll milk money out of, you'll have 10 players that leaves the game because of that, because he doesn't want to spend money, he doesn't want to grind on lower tier units, then convert the XP, and there's a shit ton of XP as well, and the grind is slower. If at least the grind was faster, that would be much less of an issue. But no, you're just slowing down the grind again, instead of making it faster. And I don't know if Chinese players are that fine with the longer grind. I don't know, Western players in majority aren't. So that's something for you to consider, CA. And well, I did have a separate video about it. Maybe I'll just again separate that because I think it was like 9 minutes rant in here. So I can just make it a separate video to address this issue, because it is an issue. It is an important issue that we need to talk about, and we need to make CA get things right, because it's just fucking bad. Luckily, that's something they can fix in a hotfix. So I leave it up to you players to just make a noise about it. And if you make enough noise within the community, on Discord, on Reddit, on YouTube, whatever, maybe CA will listen. Maybe. Well, even if you have a chance of maybe, it is still worth a try, so please do not give up on just a maybe. Anyway, let's continue. Adjustment of battle income interface. The adjusted battle revenue details will better display the bonuses brought by advanced units and advanced accounts. They were good enough for me. Doesn't really matter. Okay, patch notes. Balance. In-game level. The current purpose is to appropriately reduce the degree of influence of the level of the game on the outcome of the battle, as much as possible to allow as many players as possible to increase their level in the game. The attribute enhancement effect brought by the in-game level is reduced. Level 2 down 20, level 3 down 25, level 4 down 33. The following units are not within the scope of unified adjustment. Armor penetration damage of ranged units remains unchanged. Increased armor penetration of Javelin units, level 1 increased 33, level 2 increased by 20, level 3 increased by 20, level 4 increased by 16%. Okay. I don't think that's a good change. I mean, some units were scaling out of proportion because it's a percentage game, right? But how I interpreted the intent behind it is that the later the game goes, it becomes more and more like explosive, more punishing, because due to the percentages, and you know, you were getting melee weapon damage, right? Melee attack and armor, but you were getting melee defense as well. Yeah, I think you were getting melee defense. Fuck, I don't remember. But anyway, due to the percentage scaling, it was the advantages were scaling further out of proportion, right? To make the late game more explosive and more punishing, just like you have with tiers. Right? On early tiers, you have like slow units that fight slowly, they have little unit abilities, and then in later tiers, you have engagements that are much faster because there are more abilities, there are more ways to outplay your opponent, etc, etc. And it was like scaled down and put into a single battle, which I really liked. And also it allowed like the bigger differences between ranks, XP ranks, allowed for comebacks, because it is very often the case, like you had a strategy of, okay, we can give up a few capture points early but gain XP advantage in return, and then try to win in the late game. Right now it nerfs that late game strategy and buffs the early game strategy. That's essentially it. I had a really good battle that illustrates it. Is it public now? I don't think it is, but maybe I'll just release it ahead of time, I guess. It would come out on Thursday. I think it's Thursday that it's a new series. Anyway, there is a battle on the Rubicon where we don't deliberately give up points, we just lost them, right? I mean, we took ranged units, so that was kind of giving out the points. But we managed to get ahead in XP, and I guess spoilers for the battle, but whatever, I'm just making a point in here. We got ahead in XP, and then towards the very end of the battle, we pushed for the middle, and we captured the enemy base, and we managed to capture the enemy base because we had an advantage in XP, and we were able to push our way through and secure the base, which wouldn't be possible if the enemy had XP advantage. So right now, if that battle was fought on this patch, a strategy like this would just fail, and the battles themselves are decided much more earlier, and then that also feels like, okay, we've lost 1 or 2 points early, we are falling behind, and you start to feel like, okay, there's like no fucking way to come back, we just have to wait until the battle finishes, right? Instead of saying, okay, we lost the points, but don't worry, we can still win on XP and come back late game. Right now, that philosophy that plan is still there, but it's like hugely nerfed. So I'm really not a fan of it. And I think CA didn't think it through. Okay. And as for Javelin units, I also think they didn't think it through. Because people were complaining, oh, Javelin don't scale as well as archers, for example, with XP. Yeah, but they scaled much better than archers in the reverse situation. Because, yes, they didn't gain much damage by leveling up. And let's say rank 4 Javelin unit didn't deal that much more damage than a rank 0 Javelin unit if they were to shoot, again, rank 0 melee infantry. But it's also true for reverse. Because if melee infantry is rank 4 and your archers are rank 0, archers are not dealing any damage, only AP, and their AP damage is pathetic. While javelins don't care. I can be rank 0, you can be rank 4, I still deal full damage to you. And it's again the case of people just thinking of one side of the issue, but never thinking about the other side of the issue. Fucking think about it, it's AP damage, it's always applied. You don't increase missile block with ranks, you just increase armor. But javelins ignore armor anyway. Like, yes, it's true, you don't scale that well, but also enemies don't scale that well against you. So its Javelin unit was that kind of unique thing where the rank scaling didn't really matter. It didn't really care about the rank scaling. So I don't think Javelins were really an issue, because they were just dealing consistent damage. In terms of archers, right, if archers are the same rank as the enemy melee infantry, they would roughly deal the same damage as they were if they were rank lower. It's like rank 0 versus rank 0, rank 1 versus rank 1, etc, etc. The damage would be roughly equal. Again, due to the percentage scaling, the damage would scale the other way, depending on who has higher based armor or missile weapon damage. Right? So if the missile weapon damage at rank 0 is higher than the armor, then the missile weapon damage scales better, and on rank 2, 3, 4, you deal slightly more damage, or a lot more damage. But if the armor is higher than the base missile weapon damage, then the higher you go, the less damage the archers will deal. Especially, for example, when shooting them from behind or something. Right? So you could get, if you shoot them from the front, you only deal AP, but if you shoot them from the back, you deal more than AP. But if if the melee unit has a higher rank, and it is getting shot by lower rank archers in the back, it just doesn't care. Like, I've been there. Like, my infantry was rank 3 and I was being shot by rank 1 archers, and I just didn't care because it was only AP damage from the back. So even with 0% missiles blocked, just AP damage just tickles me. I can just ignore them and just finish the infantry that's in front of me. So I don't think that was that much of an issue. The issue was, if anything, in the base numbers themselves. Those should be rebalanced, but I don't think that it was like that much of an issue with the level scaling itself. And yeah, sure, sometimes when when an enemy team gets ahead in both XP and capture points, you just get crushed as well. But then you get crushed very quickly, and you know there's like no coming back. So it kind of allows for better comeback opportunities if the points are equal, but the XP isn't. But I don't think that was that much of an issue before, and I think that comeback based on XP was much better. So yeah, sure, there are advantages and disadvantages to both solutions, but I prefer how it was earlier. So those are my thoughts on the in-game level changes. Let's go on to another one. Adjustment of fortifications. Adjust the number of uses of stakes and roadblocks from 2 to 1. Finally, nerfed stakes. They were buffing stakes, patch after patch after patch, and now you can only use one. Question is, does it apply only to infantry, or does it also apply to light artillery? I hope it's both. Well, it doesn't say it's only for infantry, So I assume for both artillery and infantry, you can only use one stack of stakes, set of stakes, I guess, per unit, per refill, which is a good change, but I still think the stakes themselves should be changed, should be rebalanced. Do I go into it? I don't feel like going into stake balance right now. We can leave it for another day. The stake balance discussion. Just so you know, stakes aren't balanced. They're broken due to many factors. How long they take to be destroyed, how long they take to be deployed, how you can just refresh them, how you can and how much damage they deal, how they don't need friendly fire. All of those issues just stack up and make stakes absolutely broken. But at least there now will be less of them. So, hey, less cancer, but still cancer. So, 50-50 about it. It's a small step in the right direction, I hope. But I was like, oh, you know, now there's like half as many stakes, so let's buff stakes again, let them deal more damage, yeah! No, please don't. Adjust the upper limit of rate of fire. Okay, the upper limit of units' rate of fire is set to 87%. I don't remember what it was before, but it was in that range as well. I think it was like maybe 90%, 90 something. I don't know. It is also like, what the fuck do you mean by 87%? Like 87% of reduced fire rate of the base, because they're archers or range units in general, but it mostly refers to cannon archers, right? I guess Ambiorix archers as well. Where they have bows that reduce reload time, but then that applies not to the in-game buffs, but it applies to the base reload time that we have mentioned here. Right, so let's take this example, right? We have Ural, I guess that's Archers of Ural, tier 10 Barbarian Archers. And now their base reload speed is 3.0. So let's say they have a bow that reduces the reload time by 10%. So it goes down from 3.0 to 2.7, and then all the in-game, like in battle, reload buffs can stack up to 87 on that, right? But that 10% from the bow equipment itself is not counted towards 87%, right? So it's 87% based off of this. So the unit equipment reload time will be much stronger, I guess. And well, that's just down to math, which I fucking hate. I hate when, you know, how well unit performs is down to math rather than your on-battlefield performance. So, yeah, it just fucking sucks. Okay, this allows most of the fire rate increase skills to be used normally on ranged units, except for some extreme unnecessary situation. Hasdrubal, Caesar, Ambiorix, Zhuge-Liang. Hasdrubal, Caesar, Ambiorix, Zhuge-Liang. So those of you who are old enough arena players, remember there was a so-called rainbow barrage or laser barrage, where you had Kanane and Caesar had, I think he had like only 5% reload speed buff on VD, but well, if you stack it up on top of Kanane's, like, I don't know, it was 85%, right? That increase is then huge, again, because math. And it turned a regular balanced barrage into a laser barrage that shot out, like, literally, you cannot even count the amount of missiles just because of how many there were. It was literally like machine gun. And I'm not exaggerating, it was literally machine gun. You just see one constant stream of arrows. You wouldn't see like volley, 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 volley. No, it was like, and you could literally just kill an elephant from the front with like high missile block. And just, okay, barrage, elephant dead. That was so funny. Obviously not fun to play against, but it just looks so funny, so ridiculous. Anyway, let's read the rest of the patch notes. Other adjustments related to the increase of fire rate are high-level barbarian camp archers. So I guess they're just adjusting the rate of fire level, like they are mentioning here. But then why mention this unit but not the other units? I don't know. The firing rate increased skill owned by the unit will not be able to stack with Bjorik's intrusion skill. Now what is intrusion? I assume that would be haste. Skill owned by the unit. So you mean ambush flurry and no, snipe doesn't increase rate of fire. Ambush flurry, because ambush flurry increases reload time or decreases reload time by 8%, I think it is. So is that superseded just like with Kanane's barrage? Because you cannot use Kanane's barrage. I mean, no, when you have Kanane and have barrage, you just don't have rapid shot at all. But it says it won't be able to stack. Then again, it's Google translation, so you know, take it with a pinch of salt. But that doesn't make sense, because if the upper limit is 87%, you can obviously stack, because haste doesn't give you 87%. It's nowhere near. So it will be able to stack. So the only reasonable explanation is that it will supersede. So if you take Ambiorix and have haste, well obviously you have haste because you have Ambiorix, then if the unit itself has ambush flurry, the ambush flurry is removed. It's superseded by haste. Just like rapid shot is superseded by barrage. And to be honest, I think that shouldn't be the case. Because yes, a combo of barrage and rapid shot would be broken, but then again, you already have that limit. Don't get me wrong, this limit was there before, it was just a different number. They're just adjusting it. It's not like they're adding it. They added it after the laser barrage. That's when it was introduced first. Now they're just adjusting it. So barrage and rapid shot don't stack anyway, or I mean they do stack, but not to a ridiculous extent that it was supposed to be eliminated. Because to be honest, it'll be more than 100%, I think, because reload rapid shot is minus 35% reload speed, I think, and barrage itself, like on higher tiers, was like 80 as well. So yeah, you would have negative reload speed, which would obviously be limited to like 99 anyway. But that doesn't help. So I think they should look back onto that and just add rapid shot back. And you can either go for like a slightly stronger barrage if you combine both barrage and rapid shot, or maximize your damage over time and go barrage, and after barrage finishes, then you go rapid shot. Right, so it's like more burst damage versus more damage over time. Rather than just superseding is like, well, I do have a unit ability here, but I don't because I have commander that is supposed to be played on archers. So that fucking sucks. So maybe just add another caveat. Like, you have abilities that, for example, cannot be used while engaged melee, cannot be used while in phalanx. Just add a condition. Ambush flurry cannot be used while haste is active. Rapid shot cannot be used while barrage is active. It's as simple as that. And I think it still would be balanced. It wouldn't be broken if you just cannot stack. Continuing on. Balance problem repair. Fix the issue of incorrect in-game experience of when war defense units are fighting with units of the same type. Okay. This problem has also affected other units, but to a small extent. So I guess you were getting either not enough or too much XP after killing an elephant. The retreat skill can only be used 1 minute after the start of the battle. Prevent the use of retreat skills to bypass the deployment position at the beginning of the battle, for example, Augustus Pass. Yeah, that's a good solution. The talent bonus of Mitayad Intimidation skill has been repaired. Cold zone time, duration, range effect. Hooray for multi-mains. Okay, bug fix. I mean, to be honest, that sounds like a bug fix. So why is it here rather than here? What the fuck? Okay. Fix the problem that the icons that were displayed overlappingly when the player is disconnected from the network during the battle would be taken over by the squad. What? Fix the problem that emoji and delay cannot be displayed normally in the window display mode. Okay. Oh, which is my menu. Fix the issue that may cause the game to crash when clicking the backspace D button. Fix an issue where there was a space in the player's name that caused abnormal private chat messages. Fix the incorrect display when sorting by Chinese name. Fix the overlap of the prepare button and cancel button in the team. Hey, I had that one. Hey, I did so many times. Fix the incorrect unit unlock requirement in the prompt message. Fix the error message indicating that there is no product when filtering the store. Fix the bug of adding other players replaced to the favorite list. Fix the prompt pop-up that was not localized. Removed redundant help icons. Fix the overlapping text in the Chinese display of setting menu. Fix the information display of squad players. I guess. Nice. Fix the display of unit experience value in prompt message. Added correct playback search icon. Fixed an issue where a silver coin button in the store displayed incorrectly. Fix the issue that the news panels displayed abnormally during match. Can you fix that it doesn't... like it keeps showing up even if you select do not show again? You still keep seeing it again. Fix that, goddammit. Attachment, known issues. Clicking the unlock new unit equipment tutorial button as shown in the figure will cause the start war button to be grayed out and cannot be clicked when carrying a level 1 unit. Well, I guess this is only for new players, and new players don't read patch notes. So, that's a bummer. Maybe make a news pop up like here. I was like, hey, this is bugged. Please avoid. Because this is essentially locking up new players onto the game, so... yeah, I would make sure this is pretty visible. Because I don't think new players will come here and check that out. Scroll all the way down to patch notes that they don't understand because they just started the game. So, those are the patch notes. We are at the end of the page. Only 52 minutes discussion, right? That's pretty short. But the patch notes are pretty long. Again, links in the top right corner. And I guess maybe on the end screen if I bother to add that. If I bother to add it to cards as well. Remind me in the comments if I didn't, but I probably will. But well, I can only add that once the video is uploaded. And maybe I have to publish it as soon as possible. Anyway. Check out those links. Do the things that you need to do to help us bring to the war and back to the West. And well, I will see you on Arena's Battlefields, Commanders.